Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. Michael Greger coming to you live from my treadmill, but should I be? We got some complaints last time that my bobbing around was distracting. I do like to role model healthy behavior, but at the same time, don't want to make anyone seasick. So I'll leave it up to you. Let's pull up a poll. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Where's my polls? There's my polls. Okay. You should see a poll on your screen. Treadmill, yay or nay? I will share and abide by the results. Click your choice. And just to give you a heads up, I can see what's happening behind the scenes. It's neck and neck. This is so funny. Oh my God. So we have about 1,000 people answering. Right now it's 58-42, 58% yes, stay on the treadmill. 42% say no, I'm gonna yak. I'll give you a few more seconds if you want to change the balance. I'll give it 1 minute. Okay, so we're 55 seconds, 5 seconds left. And we will end the poll, and share the results. The results are treadmill, 58%. No treadmill, 42%. Treadmill wins today. But it was so close that we can do it every time, or at least for the next few webinars, and see see if people don't change their mind. All right. Okay. This is another CMA approved webinar, continuing medical education for doctors and other medical professionals, as should all our webinars going forward. As such, I am proud to declare that I have no relevant financial relationships with ineligible companies to disclose. That kind of legalese declaration statement is necessary, given the long checkered past of Big Pharma secretly propping up paid shills to push their products. So now they just non-secretly prop up paid shills to push their products, but I'm not one of them. First, some quick housekeeping logistics. If when the videos are playing and you want to maximize the video, there should be a little gray vertical bar between the video and the panelists that you can click and drag over, or you can click on the view in the upper right to maximize the video, or at least the last time there was a Zoom update. Hopefully it's the same. If at any time you run into technical difficulties, there are live chat Zoom staff standing by. Let me paste that link into the chat. Where's my chat here? There we go. Okay, paste. You should see that. If they are unable to help, we also have Nutrition Facts staff standing by as well. And let me paste that in the chat box. All right. Okay, please reserve the Q&A button you see in the Zoom window to ask content questions. Today's webinar is only an hour, but I've reserved lots of time for Q&A at the end. But please feel to add questions anytime by clicking on the Q&A throughout the webinar, and the Nutrition Facts team will be compiling them to be answered at the end. You don't have to worry about taking notes or everything after the webinar is over. We're not only going to send you a full recording of it, but a free link to download all the videos in their high-def glory. All right, today I'm going to be covering collagen supplements for skin aging, for arthritis, and for how to boost your own body's collagen formation itself. This arose out of my book, How Not to Age, out of the research for the book. So let's start with collagen supplements, what they can and cannot do for your skin. Let's see. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Collagen comes from the Greek kola, meaning gum, and gen, meaning producing. Its gelling nature is exemplified by Jell-O gelatin, which is basically just cooked collagen. It is our most abundant protein and the main structural component of most of the tissues in our body. For example, up to 3/4 of our skin by weight may be pure collagen. There are actually dozens of different types, but they all share a characteristic triple helix configuration of coiled subunits. What happens when we eat it? If someone would have asked me for my educated guess about taking collagen before I took a deep dive for my book, How Not to Age, I would have dismissed it as witch doctory woo-woo. I mean, eating skin for your face would seem to make as much sense as eating brains to make yourself smarter, or eyeballs to improve your vision. After all, when you eat proteins, they're broken down into their constituent amino acids, which are then rebuilt into any protein your body needs. And of all proteins to eat, I mean, collagen is the only protein in our food supply that's truly incomplete. That is, it's missing an essential amino acid. Other dietary proteins, including all plant proteins, contain all of the essential amino acids. In fact, that's why they're called essential, since animals like us can't make them. Collagen, though, is missing the amino acid tryptophan. So the only protein source that you couldn't live on is Jell-O, since it effectively has a protein quality score of 0. But obviously that's not all people eat, so significant amounts of collagen could be incorporated into the diet without keeling over. But tryptophan is special. Randomizing people to even a single meal of a gelatin-based protein drink can lead to memory impairments within hours due to acute tryptophan depletion, presumably due to a drop in the brain of serotonin, which is made from tryptophan, and doesn't just regulate mood, but learning and memory as well. So the idea of collagen supplements never made sense to me, but the proof is in the pudding, or rather, perhaps the Jell-O. What does the science say? My assumption that collagen proteins would get completely broken down in the digestive tract was wrong. Feed people gelatin from pig skin or chicken feet, and little pieces of collagen particles can be found floating in their bloodstream within hours. Though no further tracking has been done in humans, in rodents, collagen fragments from gelatin consumption can end up in the cartilage and skin. Now, biologically, there's no mechanism by which these fragments could be directly incorporated into new collagen, but there may be an indirect way collagen bits could boost collagen deposition, as appears to happen in rat skin. What about in people? Some of the collagen studies lack control groups. I'm reminded of that vintage Star Trek episode Mud's Women, where Kirk successfully swaps out a youth-giving supplement for a placebo without the aliens noticing. Randomized control trials are scarce. But a systematic review and meta-analysis of the available data show that, although outcomes were mixed, on average, there were beneficial effects for skin hydration, elasticity, and roughness. Despite some favorable results, much of the dermatology community has remained skeptical, suggesting the collagen supplement industry may just be flooding the zone with poor-quality biased studies. The studies are often funded by collagen supplement manufacturers, and the overall quality of evidence is considered to be limited, contradictory, not particularly robust. A 2022 review entitled Myths in Media in Oral Collagen Supplementation for the Skin, Nails, and Hair in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology concluded that dermatologists should be aware of the unsubstantiated proclamations of collagen made by companies which surpass any evidence currently supported by the literature. And given the insufficient evidence, collagen cannot be routinely recommended at this time. Moreover, the evidence is considered to be particularly unconvincing when compared to methods more definitively shown to have a positive effect on skin collagen, such as sunscreen use, smoking cessation, and a healthy diet. Okay, so the latest meta-analysis, the latest compilation of available published studies does show overall beneficial effect for skin hydration, elasticity, and roughness, but this may just be a matter of garbage in, garbage out, right? Is it just a matter of supplement industry flooding the zone with poor quality biased studies? Well, I'll talk more about this potential for publication bias in this next video about collagen supplements for arthritis. Nearly a millennium ago, a medieval nun suggested eating gelatin to reduce joint pain. Unfortunately, when it was put to the test in a multi-center, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial, it didn't work. A dozen years later, looking at knee and hip osteoarthritis, there was still no overall evidence for collagen supplements working better than placebo. However, the latest compilation of studies purported to show a benefit for improving osteoarthritis symptoms. In one symptom index, it appeared to help with stiffness, but not pain or disability, but an overall improvement in symptoms and a different index of pain were statistically significant. If, however, you exclude the smallest study, whose authors were employees of a collagen company, all the results lost clinical importance, meaning the overall effects were unnoticeably small. In fact, every single one was funded by collagen companies or directly run by company employees. Another thing you'll notice about these data is that, with this one exception, the smaller the study, the larger the effect. This pattern is a common sign of publication bias, the tendency to do a whole bunch of small trials, but publish only the ones that work to your advantage, and secretly shelve the rest. Coupled with all the conflicts of interest, concerns have been raised that additional small studies may have been conducted, but conveniently disappeared. And then other fishy findings are that smaller doses appeared to have larger effects, as did using it for a shorter amount of time. OK, but the last study was published in 2016. What's happened since then? A comprehensive systematic review published in 2022 was surprised to note that the last study done on collagen supplements for rheumatoid arthritis was published more than a decade ago, and the last osteoarthritis study was still that 2016 one. Why? Well, one possible reason is the high incidence of adverse side effects reported in those taking collagen supplements, or another reason may be that they simply don't work very well. I mean, if collagen company executives truly believed they were selling something that worked, why don't they do more studies? I mean, if they thought collagen had a decent chance of working, they could make out like bandits. The fact that they haven't sponsored such a trial suggests they're not so confident it would actually show benefit. One study has been published since 2016, the biggest yet, with more than 150 people. Funded by a collagen company, researchers found a significant drop in knee pain and a significant improvement in knee function among those randomized to collagen supplements. But they also found a significant drop in knee pain and improvement in knee function in those randomized to the placebo, with no real difference between them. So the fact that effectively a sugar pill worked as well as the collagen supplements suggests collagen doesn't work. But that does raise another point. If you look at what was used for controls in the collagen studies, it was basically just sugar or sawdust, and the same with the skin studies I talked about in the last video. So even if collagen was found to be helpful in some way, there's no proof that collagen has any effects beyond just being a source of amino acids like any other protein. So if any purported collagen effect is just a matter of increased amino acid availability, then why not just have some extra hummus or something? Okay, so a somewhat similar situation as with the skin. Latest compilation of studies purported to show benefit for improving some osteoarthritis symptoms, but they were all funded or run directly by the supplement companies themselves, and smelled of publication bias, the quiet shelving of any studies that kind of didn't come out the way they wanted. But to that last company's credit, right, the biggest, latest study to date found no benefit beyond placebo, and none of the studies for skin or joints pitted collagen against non-collagen protein, so we have no human evidence that collagen protein has any kind of unique benefit whatsoever. All right, let me end with a video on choosing a collagen supplement, should you choose to take one, or how to get your own body to make more by itself. As we age, the synthesis of collagen decreases by about 1% a year, which may contribute to the development of wrinkles. Though we don't have evidence that collagen is superior than any other proteins for aging skin, those who do want to try it are advised to contact the manufacturers to clarify its source. Most collagen supplements don't disclose this information, and for good reason. Terrestrial sources can include a witch's brew of kangaroo and rat tails, duck feet, horse tendons, alligator bones, and frog skin. Aquatic sources are mainly from fish skins, bones, heads, scales, fins, and entrails. Recommended questions for manufacturers include what measures were used to protect against contamination or adulteration. If sourced from fish, were low-mercury fish used? If sourced from cows, what steps were taken to ensure that no brain or nervous system matter was included in order to prevent prion disease? In the United States, collagen is exempt from FDA prohibitions against using risky tissues like brains, prohibitions in place to protect consumers against bovine spongiform encephalopathy, also known as mad cow disease. So for food safety, religious, ethical, or allergy-related reasons, there have been calls for non-animal alternatives. For example, 2 to 4% of the population is allergic to bovine collagen. To solve the mad cow conundrum, there have been calls to genetically engineer cattle without prions to offer a safe source of collagen-based materials. But why not just get plants to make it? A technique has been perfected to produce collagen from plants, but it is yet to reach commercial viability. It's hard to beat the cost of feet. What about all the vegan collagen products on the market? If you look closely, you'll see the small print. Vegan collagen builder or vegan collagen booster. It's not actually collagen, since collagen is made by animals, but you're an animal, you make collagen, so they're suggesting their supplements can boost production, but since it appears none of them have actually been put to the test, I assume it's all a load of bunk. But there are some foods and nutrients that have been investigated. Researchers burned the butts of 20 women with a UV lamp before and after half of them ate 3 tablespoons of tomato paste each day for 3 months. And there was a significant reduction in MMP1 levels in the derrieres of those who had been randomized to the tomatoes. That's a major collagen-eating enzyme that plays a role in skin aging caused by the sun. But biopsies also show that the amount of beta-carotene found in about 1 1/3 cup of sweet potato can boost collagen production as much as 4-fold within 3 months. To test the effects of greens, Korean researchers randomized older women to the amount of chlorophyll found in a few tablespoons of cooked spinach a day. After 3 months, skin biopsies showed a significant increase in collagen production, accompanied by an increase in skin elasticity and a decrease in facial wrinkles. Unfortunately, this was just a before and after comparison to baseline study with no control group, but there have been placebo-controlled randomized trials, and of kale, no less. Compared to placebo, there was a significant improvement in a non-invasive measure of skin collagen status after 10 months of being randomized to an extract of curly kale. The researchers concluded that a healthy lifestyle, including a diet rich in carotenoids, is the best prevention strategy against premature skin aging. That led to dermatology journal commentaries with titles like "Eat plenty of green leafy vegetables for protection from the pro-aging rays of the sun." But might it actually be more than that? Sulforaphane, the cruciferous compound in kale and broccoli, may be able to mobilize cellular defenses that protect skin against damage by UV radiation, as well as mitigate the premature skin aging induced by air pollution particulate matter, though this was on skin cells in a petri dish. Soybean compounds can increase collagen deposition and prevent wrinkles in mice, but what about in people? Given improvements of skin aging seen with menopausal hormone therapy, but concerned about the side effects, researchers in Brazil tried giving phytohormones, plant hormones in the form of soy phytoestrogens. 29 postmenopausal women were given the amount in 4 servings a day of soy foods for 6 months. Unfortunately, there was no control group, but they did take skin biopsies before and after and found a significant improvement in skin thickness, along with increased collagen content and elastic fibers. The biopsies of 25 of the 29 women showed an increase in collagen. You could also throw in some vitamin C-rich foods, as vitamin C appears to stimulate collagen production from human skin cells. Defective wound healing has long been known as a major manifestation of scurvy, the vitamin C deficiency disease. In fact, a remarkable series of grisly experiments performed on British conscientious objectors during World War II involved being subjected to cuts and stab wounds after being randomized to different levels of vitamin C. And the researchers found that the average daily vitamin C intake to prevent weak scar formation was about 95 milligrams, which is actually higher than the current recommendations, but nothing you can't get from half a bell pepper. Vitamin B12 also appears to be necessary for maximum collagen synthesis, which may explain why collagen synthesis rates appear to be about 10% lower in vegetarians, because the prevalence of B12 deficiency among those eating plant-based diets is so high. That's one of the reasons why it's critically important that everyone consuming a plant-based diet ensures a regular, reliable source of vitamin B12. I want to emphasize that last point about vitamin B12 by sharing a sneak peek of a section from my upcoming book, How Not to Age. You will actually be, in the next few seconds, the first people to actually see pages from the book, which were just sent in this week to be finalized. And so I've got a PDF, and so I can delve a little more deeply into the science here. So let me share that, and hopefully you'll be able to see that okay. Okay. So hopefully you should be able to be reading that okay. It's this section on vegan vulnerabilities. I wanted to read through. You can read through with me. Just take a few minutes, and then we will go to questions. One would expect, right? I just talked about beta carotene, vitamin C, kale, all these phytonutrients. So one would expect plant-based diets might be ideal for preventing or reversing skin aging, but there's been a series of studies that expose some potential vulnerabilities. For example, the skin of vegan patients found to be more vulnerable to inflammation in a study of phototherapy for psoriasis. Phototherapy typically involves a combination of light-sensitizing drugs with a UV lamp or laser light. After 8 weeks of treatment, significantly more of the vegans, 42%, end up with severe redness as a side effect compared to only 70% of the omnivores, or 10%, 17% of the vegetarians, or 10% of the omnivores. Why might that be? Well, because the vegans came preloaded with furocoumarins. I gotta learn how to pronounce all these for when I record the audiobook. Photosensitizing compounds found naturally in certain fruits and vegetables such as parsley, parsnips, celery, and citrus. The vegans in the study were, this is crazy, but were reportedly eating 1.3 pounds, that's 600 grams, of parsley a week. That's 6 cups of, who eats 6 cups of parsley? I don't know. Sounds delicious, but I make parsley pestos all the time, but that's a lot. They also ate 10 pounds of citrus, including 2 pounds of lemons. Who eats 2 pounds of lemons a week? Anyway, pounds of parsnips and celery. So look, I love that they're eating a lot of produce, but those particular foods have these photosensitizing compounds such that if you went out in the sun, you would get sunburned easier. And so certainly when they're doing this laser treatment, you can have some problems. There's another phototherapy study, this time to destroy precancerous skin lesions, also found more severe skin inflammation in the vegan participants, as well as prolonged healing time. Now, the omnivores, they average time to healing wound closure is about 10 days, which is considered normal. But complete skin healing in the vegans took twice as long, more than twice as long, 22 days. A protraction of healing and poor results were also found in laser tattoo removal in vegans. Average healing time 23 days compared to omnivores 19 days, and ablative laser skin resurfacing, which is like it's like a cosmetic surgery laser thing to basically injure your face, and then you're supposed to heal back renewed. So now this could be due in part to excess photo damage from eating more photosensitizing produce, but vegans also seem to have delayed healing of wounds unrelated to light exposure. In a comparison of post-surgical scars from excision of skin cancers between vegans and omnivores. Oh, by the way, if you see any see any typos or anything, let me know now so I can tell the publisher to. Anyway, okay. Comparison of post-surgical scars. Vegans didn't seem to heal as well. Reduced collagen synthesis was suspected. Collagen is not only the major component of skin in general, but also the main connective tissue directly involved in wound healing. Impaired collagen synthesis could also explain why cosmetic fillers are longer lasting in omnivores, since the mechanical stress of filler injections works to boost collagen synthesis, and why micro-focused ultrasound skin treatments seem to work better as well. Again, that's another cosmetic treatment I talk about elsewhere in the book. Intense focused ultrasounds used to treat sagging skin by, heating up the temperature of your skin to as much as 104 degrees Fahrenheit to trigger a repair process that involves new collagen formation. And so the researchers suggested that less collagen production would explain why vegan patients experience significantly less improvement, according to citation 6,217. Which all those citations will be online and with hyperlinks. You can click on and read the studies yourselves. Anyway, so do those eating plant-based diets really make less collagen? Well, as I showed in that last video, apparently so. Collagen synthesis rates appear to be about 10% lower in vegetarians. And the question is why? Well, in every single one of the studies I just talked about in the here in the PDF, that measure vitamin B12 levels, the vegan participants were found to be deficient, averaging less than 2 picograms per milliliter. So they were vitamin B12 deficient. They were not taking vitamin B12 supplements. They were not eating vitamin B12 fortified foods. And both human and animal studies show that B12 is important for collagen synthesis and wound healing, as I talked about in the video. Homocysteine, which is a toxic byproduct of vitamin B12 deficiency, appears to impair collagen cross-linking, which gives the connective tissue mechanical integrity. So it's here we go. Emphasize again, critically important. Everyone consuming plant-based diets include a regular, reliable source of vitamin B12. And I'm almost done here. And another potential contributor is increased protein needs during wound healing. So, for example, those trying to heal pressure-induced skin ulcers, this is often people that are in wheelchairs, for example, have to sit all day long. The recommended protein intake goes from 0.8 grams per kilogram of healthy body weight a day. That's the recommended protein intake for everybody. But if you have these pressure-induced skin ulcers that your body's trying to heal, they up people's protein to almost twice that, 1.25 to 1.5 grams per kilogram. And so this explains why most of a dozen studies of protein supplementation for pressure ulcers found a greater reduction in ulcer size, giving people protein supplements while they're healing. Now, vegans average 1 gram per kilogram a day, which is more than enough protein for day-to-day needs, right? We just need 0.8 grams. But omnivores are averaging 1.3. So they may already be getting the excess protein that could be helpful during wound healing. So while you're recuperating from your next tattoo removal, I would recommend, here we go. Let's get some more hummus. We're back to the hummus bit. All right. Let me stop that sharing and let's move over to questions. I'm going to give the Nutrition Facts team, I'll put a 5-minute countdown up and let them compile all the most commonly asked questions. And I'll be back in 5 minutes to answer those questions, or at least do my best. Where is video? Oh, I think I closed out the video. Messages this time. Huh. All right, hold on. I'm going to try sharing again. Share screen. Slide PDF. Oh, there it is. Okay, I know this says 15. I'm going to put it all the way down to 5 and let it go, and I'll be Okay, we're back. We have about 26 minutes for questions. That's exciting. Let's get right to them. Any research on indigestible hyaluronic acid for skin elasticity or hydration? I had no idea you could even get supplements of hyaluronic acid. The only thing, I mean, I cover that in the book, but it's in terms of injections for osteoarthritis. And it actually doesn't work, though there's this really interesting thing called this, like the placebo paradox or something, where injections are so have such a remarkable placebo effect that hyaluronic acid injections, so hyaluronic acid injections don't work better than saline injections, saltwater injections, basically nothing injections. And so they're recommended against, right? But they do recommend like, acetaminophen or something, Tylenol, because that works a little bit better than placebo, but the injections of hyaluronic acid work better than Tylenol. Just like injections of placebo, injections of water work better than acetaminophen. So it's ironic. They recommend Tylenol, but they don't recommend something that works even better because it's that amazing placebo effect. Wow. You're like, wow. I mean, if there's such an amazing placebo effect, why don't we just stick needles in people? It's called acupuncture, people. Anyway, whole interesting side note, but but in terms of taking hyaluronic acid, I didn't know that was a thing. So I wouldn't know if it would help. What are my thoughts on amino acid complex supplements that are derived from plants and imitate human collagen? So I mean, this is kind of assuming there's something special about the amino acid levels in collagen that's somehow effective, and we don't have evidence to show that in people. In fact, I mean, it's like the worst protein that you can eat because you get that tryptophan depletion. So I mean, you wouldn't want to kind of match that. But maybe there is something. There haven't been the studies done between collagen and non-collagen proteins to really get at that question. Does collagen help with athletic performance and repair, like tendon, ligament recovery and strength? How can older athletes help repair faster and keep joints from hurting during long training sessions? I didn't run across anything about collagen and athletic performance, but it's not actually something I looked into. So I'm just gonna say, and I don't know, just because that's something I did not cover. I did a lot about muscle building, muscle strength, and muscle performance for older adults, but less about kind of athletic performance. I just guess that's a whole nother book. Does collagen help with osteoporosis, not osteoarthritis, osteoporosis? Is there a particular type of collagen that you recommend to assist with bone growth for someone with severe osteoporosis? I would recommend you read the chapter on osteoporosis. In fact, I just gave my was it the last webinar? I think the last webinar, a multi-hour webinar on everything you can do for your bones. So yeah, you don't have to wait till the book comes out in December. I think we have access. Do we have access to prior webinars? I don't know if people have, like, if you don't sign up, do you not have access to it? Can you buy access? I don't know how that works. But we do have webinars on it. We do have upcoming videos on it. That would be really the best source of information. And collagen did not make the list of things you can do to help protect your bones. Does getting Botox help the production of collagen? Not that I know of. What Botox does is it basically paralyzes muscles in your face and kind of relaxes the overlying skin. In fact, I have a whole section on Botox, obviously, in my Preserving Your Skin chapter. And so we could just read through Botox. If people are really interested in Botox, we can read the section. Let me know. All right, where are we? Does bone broth help with collagen production? Oh, so bone broth, that's gelatin, basically. And so, yeah, I know you've done studies on bone broth and collagen toxicity. Can you list which types of bone broth showed this? Oh, so I think the toxicity was really just the, was it the lead? I mean, so lead just kind of gets stored up by the bones. That's why, people who are exposed to lead during their lives, it stores in their bones. And then when they start losing bone later in life, they can actually get a bump in lead levels, which is not good for your brain and all sorts of other things. And so if you put lots of bones in soup, some of that leaches out. And I think it was chicken, if I remember, organic chicken bones. I think we're the ones using I think I have 2 videos on it. I think they're both on chicken. My daughter has a genetic connective tissue disease, Ehlers-Danlos. Ehlers-Danlos. Is there any way to strengthen the collagen that she does have? Well, yeah, it's caused by a genetic mutation, which makes for impaired collagen synthesis. That is not something I ran across in my research. I'm sorry to hear that. Any other ways to reverse? Oh yeah, tons. So are there any other ways to reverse sun damage or regain collagen that's already been lost? Yes, all sorts of things from the inside and out. I've got tons of stuff. In fact, I'm just working on my How Not to Age a presentation. You know how like every book I have like an hour-long talk. I have a How Not to Die talk, How Not to Diet talk, where, I mean, obviously I can't cover everything, but I just give some kind of highlights. Well, I do cover some skin stuff. So I know in the presentation, because I was just working on it, topical 10% vitamin C, 5 or 6 drops, make it your own, it's super cheap, don't get it in your eyes. And then topical niacinamide, I think at 5%. So you can buy it in bulk, and also known as nicotinamide, and put it in your favorite skin cream. And I have kind of DIY recipes in the book, and I'll present that in the presentation, and that should be up soon, certainly sooner than the book comes out. But yeah, there's what I would recommend against is tretinoin, the kind of all-trans retinoic acid that you can get a prescription for. It is remarkably proven to reverse sun damage, but it may kill you. And that's the gonna, I talk about this really concerning veteran study that had to be stopped early because there's so much higher premature death rates in the tretinoin group, because about 1 to 8% tretinoin actually that you put on your skin actually gets absorbed in your system, and it may be killing people. So I would hold off, and that's the reason why, one of the reasons Europe bans it for cosmetic uses, but it's used all over here in the US. Okay. Does crepey appearance of skin correlate directly with reduced collagen levels? I'm trying to think how either I don't know that word, or I'm trying to think of the typo for that. Anyway, the appearance of skin directly correlate with reduced collagen levels. Well, I mean, so I don't know what aspect of appearance, but it certainly does in terms of wrinkle production, where damaged collagen damage can increase your wrinkle formation. Okay, glycine is a major component of collagen. Can a glycine supplementation boost endogenous collagen synthesis in humans? Is there any research, any contraindication to take collagen supplement? So I do talk about glycine in my protein restriction chapter, How Not to Age. So probably the most important thing you can do for health and longevity is stick to recommended protein levels. And a large part of that is from one specific amino acid, methionine, but your body can use glycine to detoxify methionine. That's why extra glycine intake can improve longevity. So how do you minimize methionine as well as cysteine, get lots of glycine? You either reduce protein overall, or so you calorically restrict, you eat less food, period, or just eat less protein, or just switch. You can eat the same amount of protein, but just switch from animal foods, animal sources to plant sources, and you will get the better balance. Oh, here we go. Yeah, do I recommend retinoid creams for boosting collagen? And so I talk about all of them. So there's lots of non-prescription retinoids on the market now, like retinol. And I talk about the pros and cons of each of them. And one was better than the others, but I forget which one it is. But again, we can turn to the book and we can read it if we have time. So if you want to ask the question, yes, please read the non-prescription retinoid cream section or the Botox section. It'll be added at the end of the question queue. And if we get to it, then maybe we'll have time. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, yeah, anyway. Okay. Do moisturizers help with collagen and wrinkles? They do help with wrinkles. Of course, they don't actually treat the cause, but fine line. But that's like the best kept secret of the cosmetic industry is that you can use moisturizers to help with fine lines. The appearance of fine lines doesn't actually do anything to actually help. Although I talk about studies that looked at women who use moisturizers. And there's two conflicting data on two different cohorts in terms of whether it actually makes they actually look younger or not. It was not a randomized control study, but anyway, I have a whole thing on moisturizers in the book. We can talk about that as well. We can go through that as well. How does collagen production relate to longevity? It doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. But just kind of skin appearance is probably the most common manifestation. So really cosmesis, although, you know, the joint studies is, there's potential there if it actually works. Any thoughts on red light therapy and collagen metabolism production? I've never heard of red light therapy. It's interesting. There is some studies talking about how raising animals in different lights does different things for longevity, but nothing in relation to collagen that I ran across. Can collagen reverse the effects of aging, or does it work to prevent aging? So collagen reverse studies. Yeah, so these studies are showing improvement in elasticity, hydration, roughness. So that would be a reversal. So do we have any prevention? I don't think we have any prevention studies, because that would be have to be kind of a much longer study. I don't think those studies have been done. All right, do I know anything about this procedure? Something called Neogen, facilitates blah, 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 blah. So, and it just talked, this is like some standard, standard plug for some crazy product. And I've never heard of it, so I don't know what it does, but I'm skeptical. How does glucosamine chondroitin affect collagen? Shouldn't affect it at all. It's kind of a whole different thing, but I do have videos. I think I have a webinar coming up on glucosamine and chondroitin supplements, or we've already done a webinar. I know we're doing a webinar on it. I forget if it's already done or it's coming up. And so that'll be accompanied by videos, and it's all for joint health. Anyway, is PRP good for building collagen? Platelet-rich plasma, I talk about in the book how they it's often derided as profit-rich placebo. So PRP basically fails across the board, I think, for everything, if I remember, whether injected in the face or for hair growth or for joints, or I think it just absolutely fails across the board for everything. And it's just, a scam. But again, tremendous placebo for injections. And so I'm not saying it doesn't work. It just doesn't work better than nothing. Effectively nothing. Okay. Does collagen supplements work for straightening or thickening hair? I don't remember running across collagen in the hair chapter. I talk about biotin supplements. I did have a webinar on hair loss. I talked about the foods, the supplements, the drugs, but I don't remember collagen coming up in that conversation. Let me do a quick search. It's such a ridiculously big book that even I can't keep track of it. Here, let me pull that up. It's so big, it takes a while to load. Collagen, supplements, skin. This is all skin and joints. Yeah, it doesn't help with muscles. Nope, sorry, nothing for hair. Oh, what is the dosage of B12 to maximize collagen production? You just need enough. It's like saying, what's the dosage of vitamin C you need to avoid scurvy? Just enough. In fact, to avoid scurvy, you need like 10 milligrams a day, which is ridiculous. But for optimum vitamin C, you really want that 95 milligrams a day in terms of wound healing. So if you're going for surgery or something, you want to make sure you're getting a lot of vitamin C rich foods like broccoli and citrus and bell peppers and tropical fruits, etc. And so we want to be replete with vitamin B12. So I have my recommendations for B12 to get adequate B12 status. Daily dosing, weekly dosing, and so just check it out on NutritionFacts.org. Probably the easiest is it 2,500 micrograms once a week cyanocobalamin. I don't know, it kept changing, and so I forget, but check to see what the latest is. What are the effects of L-proline on collagen synthesis? So does just taking one amino acid proline affect collagen synthesis? Not that I ran across at all. Presumably that's just some commercial thing saying take this, but all those commercial supplements, very few have been actually put to the test, and when they have, they did not do particularly well. All right, what's next? Have collagen supplements been found to improve fat pad atrophy in the foot? I presume not. Certainly not something I've looked in. Is there anything that can help? That is not something I looked at. It's a good question. All right, I will add it to my list of research questions. Okay, since menopause, I suffer from tendonitis. Oh, that sucks. Want to stay active. Also, nails developing ridges. And so I was offered a plant-based collagen booster or silica supplements, or ionic or colloidal silica and collagen boosters effective and safe. So I do have a whole section, obviously, on nail health. So let me look at nails really quick. Because there was stuff that worked. Nail health. Let me look. I talk about nail polish, nail in the coffin. Okay, nail health. Talk about treating fungal toenail infections and preventing treatment. Talk about ingrown toenails, blah, blah, blah. What you can do to prevent nails from separating. Brittle nails. Mostly about staying away from manicures and acetone nail polish removals. And I talk about the biotin studies. Yeah, nothing on collagen for nail health that I could find, or that I noted. So I would presume that would not be useful. I'm being told a collagen supplement for the use of helping with improvement of pelvic floor. Oh, let me just go back. In terms of tendonitis for menopause, there's some great studies. In fact, I'm going to talk about them in the presentation about putting people on a plant-based diet and adding half a cup of soybeans, just canned soybeans, to their daily diet, and significant improvements in a whole variety of symptoms. I forget. So certainly in terms of like hot flash symptoms, these so-called vasomotor symptoms, but I would not be surprised if it also helped with these musculoskeletal symptoms. So I would add a half cup of whole soy a day. Doesn't have to be whole soybeans. Well, I would do whole soybeans just because that's what the study used, but presumably you get the same benefits with edamame or soy nuts or tempeh any other whole soy food. Okay, I'm being told to take collagen supplement for the use of helping the improvement of pelvic floor prolapse. It doesn't make any sense to me. What about taking silica or putting silica on your face? So basically, like, should you eat sand? I did not run across anything with silica. Anything about silica supplements. And since I did comprehensive literature reviews for all these organ systems on everything that, at all randomized controlled trials, the fact that I didn't run across something, I mean, you shouldn't take that for absolute. I mean, it's possible I missed something, but if I didn't run across it, if it's not in part of the book, I mean, the book has 13,000 citations. If I didn't run across it, then it probably doesn't exist. And it's probably just kind of marketing, woo, but I could always do specific, searches for specific things if anyone has any specific questions. Okay, what about dermatologist procedures like lasers? Yes, I got a whole section on lasers, both lasers for hair loss, laser treatments for your face. And we could talk about that too. I got a note from someone on the staff saying, yes, let's talk about the retinol if you have time. And we do have 5 minutes. Let's do it. Let's bring it up. All right. Where is it? Types of pages. Here we go. Okay, find retinol. Okay, here we go. Let me share. Let's do this. Share screen. PDF expert. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Okay, nightly retinoids. Okay, so I end the. Let me boost that up a little bit so you can see that. So consider the gold standard for anti-aging skincare, daily use of sunscreens in the daytime, retinoids at night. So what about those retinoids? While sunscreen can prevent further photo aging, as I talked about, tretinoin can reverse what's already done, also known as transretinoic or retin A. Oh, yeah, people probably know it as retin A, and it can do all these wonderful things, except, of course, it could kill you, maybe premature death. So I talk about that. Okay, but then, so what about the retinol? Oh, here we go. Funny. Okay, so yes, there are gentler, less potent over-the-counter topical retinoids, retinaldehyde, retinol, and retinol esters like retinol acetate, retinol palmitate, retinol propionate, and I compare and contrast them all in a video I'm creating. So this is because I had to cut 600 pages of the book because it was too long, so I had to make videos to cover all the stuff I cut. I don't know if that video is actually up right now, but I do have an unabridged copy. That's what I'm gonna pull up. All right, I mean, not a copy, an unabridged draft. So it should have all the information in it. So now, okay. And so here we go. All right, so let's share that. Stop share. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. So you should be able to see this is a Word document. Let's make it bigger. There we go. Gentler, less potent, over-the-counter topical retinoids, retinaldehyde, retinol. That's been fixed. Retinol esters. Once absorbed in the skin, our body can convert them into small amounts of tretinoin. Data are limited about these non-prescription retinoids. Results: clinical trials of retinol esters have been routinely disappointing. Even daily use for 48 weeks was found to be ineffective. Okay, but retinaldehyde and retinol, however, show some promise. There's a 44-week head-to-head trial of tretinoin versus retinaldehyde versus placebo cream. Retinoids can be so irritating, it's hard to blind participants as to whether or not they're in the control group. That's a good point. So objective measures that may be less susceptible to placebo effects are especially important. And so what these researchers did was made silicone molds of the crow's feet wrinkles around the eyes of participants before and after being randomized one of the three groups, and then analyzed scans of the molds using high-resolution digital imaging processing. Anyway, the retinaldehyde showed similar reduction in fine lines and wrinkles as to tretinoin with less irritation. only 23% had the irritation versus 71% versus 4% of the placebo. But of all the non-prescription retinoid options, retinol may be preferred. It causes even less irritation. Non-significantly different than placebo in a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial, 52 weeks, improved fine line, crow's feet by 44%, mottled pigmentation, which is common for people with darker skin tones, by 84%. However, tretinoin is the best, but then of course it may kill you. So, all right, there we go. Let me get. I think there's. I just wanted to announce the upcoming webinar, so you can put it on your calendar. If I can find where. Oh, here we go. Okay. Phew. Next webinar, already approved for CME, July 14th. Put it on your calendar. Preventing and treating age-related hearing loss. What did I just say? Maybe you need to go to the webinar where I share the good news that hearing loss is not inevitable. So stay tuned. Make sure you're signed up to the Nutrition Facts email newsletter where we will be sending out all the future details. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today. And don't forget to eat your vegetables. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm so glad I was on the treadmill.